Jessica.
Yeah, Jonathan.
We have been doing phenomenal
Yes.
lately. We really have. It's been a while since we've done one of these, just you and I.
Yeah.
You know, we've done a lot of these with other people,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's good that we do one of these just with us,
I
so we can get a
know.
little alone time.
Yeah.
I think when we first started, sort of our team, it was a lot of like building trust, and we were both really set on that, right?
Yes.
From the beginning. It was like, this is
From
a
the first-
relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta build it, and like it's all about trust, and that's sort of how it's grown.
No, I mean, the first meeting we had, I remember, Jonathan, you mentioning, like, I want us to work together, but it's all built on trust.
Yep.
And that's something that registered to me because trust is the most important thing
Yep.
with work, with family, with relationships. Like, you need to have trust. That's the
Exactly.
foundation to life.
Yep.
And the moment you said that, it like triggered in me because that's the most beautiful word.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the moment you said it, I'm like, okay, well, you say you need trust and you want trust, and I'm going to give you that trust.
Yeah.
And I will be loyal and faithful for you, for business. And look at us now. Like, we're
know.
thriving and we're cutting out all the bullshit in between. Like, we're growing so quickly, exponentially, because it all stems to the foundation of trust.
Definitely, and that's just one of the things, and it's because, like, and again, it goes back to the thing with, I think a lot of the other teams, right? It's almost like if you look at, and again, I don't want to name names, but if you look at a lot of the other teams, they're built like every person on the team does the exact same shit. You all have the same job, so you're all competing against each other.
Right.
It's like if you have a soccer team where you're all actually an individual team.
Right.
Like each person is an individual team playing against each other.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't really make sense. Where how we did it is more so we each have our own niches, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Like John has the back end.
Yep.
Andrew has the nightlife. Min has the event planning. You know, Lee has the assistance. And that's sort of, we have everyone that has their own niches, right? And we all work in towards like a bigger goal.
Totally.
And making the company into, so that it's a real company, right? And then me and you are sort of the faces of it.
Right.
And I think the perfect example, like I was telling Devin when we came home after that Brooklyn, the townhouse that we landed the other day, or the multifamily home, sorry.
Yeah.
It was just a perfect way of, because I was being aggressive for sure.
Yeah.
But, like, it worked, but it wouldn't have worked without you. Like, I came in like this, but then you came in and smoothened it out, right?
Yeah.
And it was just perfect.
Yes.
The
because
way that
makes
worked
like
was perfect.
I think what's beautiful about us is like the yin yang, you know, you're more of the aggressive when you need to, and
Yeah.
I'm more of like the Jonathan, like, let me calm you down a
Yeah,
little.
yeah.
And like that's how we close the deal.
Yeah.
Right? We need a little bit of like that energy to, you know, balance each other out.
Yeah, and it was perfect in that scenario.
Yeah,
It really
yeah.
was.
So we got a building.
We did. We got a whole building.
Yeah.
And that was phenomenal,
Yeah.
you know? And truth be told, I think what I hate about other people saying about us right now, I know Ryan is not saying it because we're making Ryan a lot of money.
Of course.
And something I also want to make very clear to everybody out there, me and Jessica did not ask to join Sirhan.
Right.
Ryan called us to join Sirhan.
Truth.
No one else here was called to join Sirhan.
It's true.
Just me and Jessica.
Right. That's why we joined at the same exact time.
Yep.
Why? Because we were both
Fucking
reached
amazing.
out at the same time for a reason.
Exactly. And I think, you know, a lot of the people, and I'm not going to name names, but a lot of them, they're not angry with us, but they have some resentment towards us, right?
Yeah.
And parts of it is, I think, they think we are being given probably, how do you say, better treatment or unfair treatment, that we're being given, what is that called? This is just my English, not adding up.
We're being more favored.
Favored, yeah. But in real estate, that's just not how it works.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be favored in real estate, because if you're favored in real estate, that just means you're killing it, right? That means you're able to actually close deals. If you're not favored, let's say you hand deals. Let's say Ryan was to give someone like not good deals.
Mm-hmm.
They can fail it and they flop,
Right.
and then Ryan loses money.
Right.
If Ryan gives deals to us, he knows we'll close it.
Yeah.
So he makes money.
Well, ABC 1, 2, 3 that deal.
Exactly. So there's a difference there, right?
Right.
And there's a track record.
Yeah.
And that's, for example, and I am going to name names here because I'm okay with saying that to their face. Like, I don't talk about anybody behind their backs unless I'm okay with saying it to their face, and I'm okay with saying this to their face. For example, Savannah, right?
Right.
With her, it's like when she was saying, like, oh, why am I not getting, like, deals and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck would she do with the deal? What would she do with the deal?
Right.
Like, if I was Ryan, if I owned the firm and I gave her a deal, I wouldn't give her a deal because she would fumble it. Like, what the fuck would she do with it?
My thought with Savannah is she first said, hey, I don't know where I want to be. You know, I'm kind of scared to be alone. And I'm like, listen, this is part of the journey. We'll figure it out. You're going to be fine. You're protected. We have Ryan. We have a whole team. You'll find your way. You'll find your path. You could work with whoever you want and go for it.
Yeah.
But instead, she decided to meet with me and say she wants to work with me, but then she said she doesn't want to work with us because we're younger and she feels like she needs to work with someone older. And then she said she got poached by someone else at a different company. And then she talked to Ryan that she got poached. Like, her inconsistency and, like, not knowing what you want is not a good thing. Like, you need to know what you want in life.
And
I know myself. Like, I know Sirhan is what I want.
Right.
That is what I'm going to do. I know I want to work with you. We made it happen. We're doing it. We're triple Xing, 10Xing, whatever, because we have our eyes on the prize of doing it.
Experience doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and it's like, it doesn't really matter because it's like we do it every single day, all day, every day. So experience is like, like the fact that she even says that also pisses me off, you know?
No, what pisses me off is, like, we
And
talked
the
about it at the
poaching
event.
Also, it's like any company will hire
Don't
you
do that.
unless they offer you money. Then you're not getting poached.
Yeah,
Like,
but you don't say that. Like, if you're not happy.
Yeah, and unless they offer you money, you're not getting poached. Any idiot can. If you have your license, you can go to Douglas Elliman right now.
Yeah, I think she's just being a little bit too indecisive that I don't know if it's going to work in her favor a little bit right now. Yeah, and I really do think sometimes
I tried
people
to help
think
her.
you did, and I got to give you credit. You tried. But
Yeah.
still, a few days later, she decided to say, hey, well, you guys are young. I don't know. And I'm like, well, then don't ask for help from a young person
Yeah.
if, like, your stories don't match up.
Nah, it's crazy.
They
It's
don't match
crazy.
up.
Yeah.
I think she also really wants that cookie cutter Tribeca apartment, and she wants that cookie cutter.
You can't just do
but
that.
but you gotta work for it.
Yeah, you can't just do that.
You don't just, it's not handed on a golden platter sometimes, you know? You gotta work with a rental. You gotta scrub the
who
floors.
is
You gotta
she?
paint the walls. You gotta,
Like,
it's
who
not-
does she know? Where does she come from? What is she? Nobody,
I
right?
know, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. I know you and I both, like, for example, you explain your whole New York
Yeah.
scene, because you and I
Sure.
both know a lot of the same people.
yeah.
So
Well, I think
you go ahead and explain yours first.
I think what connected us right away definitely was the fact that we both come from European backgrounds.
Sure.
So our, like, values and our work ethics all stem from that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I grew up in an immigrant family. They came to America in the late 80s. Hustled, worked really hard, came with $100 in their pocket. My mom was a cleaning lady, cleaning the homes on the Upper East Side.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was a truck driver delivering food across the country from New York to California, back and forth. So I only saw him on Sundays.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it was a well-paying job for
Yeah.
a person that did not speak English. But that was my upbringing, right?
Yeah.
Like my parents didn't speak English.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to speak English in elementary school myself because my parents didn't know how to. I did well enough and got good grades enough to qualify, because back then Brooklyn didn't have good schools. So if you had good grades, you qualified to go to school in Manhattan. So I went to middle school on the Upper East Side because my grade point average was high. But that was all because of the immigrant grind, like your parents expected you to do well, right? Like we come to America with nothing. We want to improve your life. So we're going to work hard and have those not so nice jobs, save money, get a mortgage on a home, pay it off so we could hopefully pay for your college tuition. And so my life wasn't going to Toys R Us. It was going to Home Depot. It was going to like improve, a multifamily home that my parents got a mortgage on in Brooklyn back then when it was only $200,000.
Right.
So that was my lifestyle. I literally like put up walls, right? Like I helped my mom doing that as my dad was on the road. So that was my upbringing. And so to me, like nothing was ever handed for free. I had to work for everything and I had to improve my family's life. But it wasn't easy because going to school, middle school on the Upper East Side was really hard, My school was on 76th and 3rd, like prime Upper East Side. And I was the only kid at that. Snobby kids, wealthy kids whose parents had good jobs and had money. I was the only kid in the school who was called the Brooklyn girl. And the kielbasa girl, which is Polish sausage. And, like that played such a role on me, like for a long time. Like my confidence dropped from middle school. Because people were just bullies to me. They were not nice. They were not nice.
So what about after that? Like, what about your teen years and stuff like that?
So teen years, I became more attractive. I think I lost my braces. A modeling agency recruited me. I wish I could say the name which one first recruited me, but I shouldn't because it's too bad. But the owner of the agency, very famous guy, he sit me down. I'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
He told me, "You're beautiful. We want to have you on the roster. It's just you need to lay off the pierogies." My mom,
pierogies?
I was 16 at the time, right? So they said when I walked into the modeling agency, they said, "You need to lay off the pierogies." And my mom is sitting there right by my side.
What are
I was
those?
already 110 pounds.
What's pierogies?
Pierogies are like chicken dumplings, right? So they're like,
oh, I like those.
Yeah, they're great, but they're fattening. But his jab at me was like, "You're perfect. We want you, but you need to lay off pierogies."
They're so crazy with girls and all. With
aside
that
from you're telling me to lose weight, you're also telling me to. You're dabbing on my culture. You're kind of being racist towards me in a way too, because you're telling me not to eat my culture. And so it was just that. I always, growing up in New York, I was like, I don't know if I'm American and I don't know if I'm Polish or if I'm European. Because it was like, I want to be American. My parents gave me this beautiful life, this American dream that they worked so hard for. But at the same time, people try to just not be welcoming to me.
When did you start seeing a benefit? Because I know you did. I know you, as well as me, I know you started cultivating that network that we both have, that extreme New York network. When did you start cultivating that? When did you start turning that around?
So I think it all started when then I signed with another agency after that meeting, who loved my body, and they said, "You're perfect. You don't need to lose any weight. You're gonna do well.
Keep the pierogies.
Eat the pierogies. You're fine. Don't worry." And I was just like, "Oh my God! Finally, someone thinks I'm okay." And so then I started working as a model, and I did well. I did tons of commercials for Revlon, H&M, Clairol, a lot, hair, makeup, skincare, teeth, you name it, everything with my face. Hair, you name it. And
you do have good teeth.
Thank you.
I didn't notice so now, but you have really good teeth.
Thank you. It was a year in middle school that I had to wear braces, but thank you.
Worth it.
Huh?
Worth it.
Worth it. After you do, a teeth commercial. But yeah, I mean, when I started going out in high school and nightlife,
Yeah.
honestly, that's when I felt
Like Daniel Barboza.
Like, finally, I felt like, wow, people find me to be pretty. And they like my attention, and they like me to be there. And they're putting me at the best tables. And I mean, I was underage. So it was kind of like that confidence boost, knowing that I'm at the best table.
Yeah.
With the best, models
Best
and all that
people,
stuff.
The richest people.
With the richest people. Like, I'm,
yeah.
like, surrounded with the best of the best. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, I'm finally, like, appreciated again.
Yeah.
And that was a moment where I, like, my confidence came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was through nightlife, actually.
It's crazy because how similar our stories are.
Yeah.
Because mine is the same. So basically, I mean, I don't come from a poor family, but I got into a lot of trouble when I was a kid. Like a lot of trouble. So basically, it was either like you go to school or you work and you're on your own. You know, so I didn't go to school. I did go to the Mensa school. I qualified. I have an IQ of 145. So I qualified for the Mensa Institute of Chicago and also the Rudolf Steiner School of Chicago for arts, performing arts. I dropped out of that, and then I signed with Ford Models in Chicago and moved out here with a girlfriend I had at the time and my friend that I had at the time, and she was also with Ford Models. So moved out here with them, and I guess I was 16 at the time. She lived in like a modeling housing apartment, and like basically that's how I got introduced to the top promoters, because the top promoters would come pick them up. These are 16-year-old girls, and like they had a house mom, but she would go to sleep at 10. So they would the promoter would come and pick them up, and like me and my boy would come with them at 10, and then we would go out because the Ford Models was of course like the best girls and stuff. So we'd be at the best tables, and it would be like Justin Bieber and like
Where did you go out? Like which clubs did you go to?
Like One Oak, Up and Down, all those places.
Same places,
yeah. And so we got introduced to those guys.
We probably were at the same tables, but we didn't
most
even know.
likely, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then after like a year or so, I was just like, you know what, fuck modeling. I'm just gonna do this. So like when I was 17, I said, dump the modeling, and then I just did nightlife, and I moved in with Rich Akiva. So then it was just all nightlife, all nightlife, and it was the elite nightlife. So I was surrounded with all the celebrities, all the models, all the like sort of high-end net worth people, right?
Yeah.
But it took a toll, because it was every single day, like nonstop going out,
drinking, going out.
Yeah, going out, drinking, going out, and so it took a toll on me for sure. So then, like when I turned 19, probably, I was like, okay.
This is it.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I stopped, and that's when I got my real estate license.
Okay.
And then I got my real estate license, and then I sort of drew back from that crowd, and then I disappeared for like 2 years, and really just honed my skills. And then, because I knew if I reached out to that crowd right away after I got my license, I would have burned that bridge.
Right.
Because what the fuck, I didn't know what I was doing. I would have been at Savannah, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then so I disappeared for 2 years, and then I came back knowing what I was doing, and then I utilized, that crowd. So
yeah,
same exact fucking boat that we're in.
Yeah.
I hate, here's the thing. I'm not dishing or talking down on people. I'm all for change, but I'm not for faking it.
Agreed.
I'm for evolving.
100%.
I've been like this since I can't remember. I
100%.
showed up in 8th grade in America and like a Canada Goose.
Right.
I swear to God.
Right.
And and I've been like this, and you evolve. You don't change. You can't change. You can't fake it and flop it. You need to evolve, and then if that person is not, how do I say this? You shouldn't.
You can't flip a 180 and be something else because cameras are on you and you're like, wow, now I am, pageant queen.
Right. And it's okay to be yourself. It's like you don't have to try that hard. And it's okay. It's like some people are not meant to be some people, you know. It's like you don't have to try that hard. It's you know.
Listen, everyone's different, but I love realness. I don't like fakeness.
No. The thing about building your own personal brand, and that's what they're trying to do, and I get it, but they're faking it. And the thing that we're doing.
Can we talk about the flowers that were delivered to the office? Like, that was fake.
But that's what I'm saying. And she has a husband.
Like, we had the party at her office.
Yeah.
And why on a Tuesday at 4:25 p.m. did somebody send you flowers?
While there's hella cameras and everything.
I've got flowers delivered to me maybe no more than 5 times in my lifetime. Yeah. Why did you get flowers at 4:35 on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Maybe she's doing something I'm not. God damn it.
So, no, I think, you know, really what it is, I think most of them, and I think they see what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
We have nothing to worry about. I think what we're doing is we're on the right track. We are the next gen of this. We're switching up the whole sort of industry of this.
Totally.
We're changing the game. We're completely revamping this. We're disrupting for good. And I think in 5 years from now, people are only going to be doing it the way we're doing it. Street Easy is going to be obsolete. Our way is going to be the new way. It's going to be targeting. It's going to be social media. There's a way bigger reach this way. The same thing happened in modeling. The same thing happened in a lot of other industries, you know, like castings, for example. They don't pick who's the prettiest. They pick who has the most reach so that, Correct. You know, the brand can get the most reach. And it's the same thing here. And, you know, markets, real estate doesn't really, and especially in a city like New York, when there's such unique apartments, it doesn't necessarily have to go after the market. You can brand the apartment. You know, like an iPhone is not worth what an iPhone is worth.
Right.
You can brand it
right.
if it's not on the market, you know, so you can brand it and you can actually sell it for more as long as you don't put it on the market. And that's what a strong brand is, right? And that's what people are afraid of. People are afraid of having a brand when it's connected to yourself, because when the brand is connected to yourself and the brand sucks, it means you suck.
Right.
Luckily, we don't suck.
Yeah. No, what I love is that we really use social media. We've really utilized that. We really like focus on the marketing, focusing on all the material we can with that.
Yeah.
Because that's what sells. I mean, Jonathan, maybe it's different for you, but I do more real estate transaction communications through DMs than I do through emails. Like, that's how crazy it's become. And I think like our generation is kind of going more gearing towards that now. For sure. Because you have like your loyal followers and they see what you're doing, they see what you're posting, they're asking the questions. And then obviously once they're interested, you like loop them into an email. But I think like in 10 years, like this is how it's going to be done.
It's that, and it's like we're bridging the gap right now, and there's no competition. And this might sound cocky, but there's no competition at all. There's no competition in any shape or form. There's such a big gap that needs to be bridged. There's no old money anymore. It's all young money, basically. Even Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they're all young money, you know? We are that gap, you know? Like anybody that are in their 30s or 40s or even like 20s or whatever that has millions of dollars, they would much rather go tour with you and me than some fucking dude in a blue suit and bald and, you know, half car salesman. I can promise you that. So we are bridging that gap, and there's no competition.
Totally. I mean, look, for example, when we had a meeting in Williamsburg with the developer that I know, he was just like right away impressed. He was like, you guys are so fresh. And like, oh my God, I want to work with you guys. Like, you're so different, so new. Like, you're just like a breath of fresh air, like of how you guys do things.
And it comes with the honesty, it comes with the trust, it comes with the comfortability, it comes with the feeling.
Yes.
And that is there, right?
Yes.
And you can't fake it. You have to make them feel comfortable. You have to make them trust you. And we do that. that.
Faking is short term. Real is long term.
Yeah, we're planting seeds. We're farming.
Yeah.
That's all that is. We're patient. Long term, baby.
We're in for the long haul.
Indeed. All right.
Let's do it.